Smiley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, November 6th. So today we do have the moon in Leo energy going void, of course, at 2:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to be locking into Virgo energy at 2:40 p.m. So that is a very long 12-hour chunk in order for us to be sitting in a state of confusion, of questioning, of destabilizing the little bit of growth, a little bit of progress that we've been able to make over the last couple of days. Of course, when the moon is void, things aren't as sure, as certain, as stable as they once were, and because we are just in the beginning stages of trying to piece together this new foundation, this new structure for us to be operating from, it does kind of feel like we didn't gain a whole lot of stability before the foundation of what it is that we thought we were in pursuit of starts shaking under our feet again. Of course, the last couple of days with the moon in Leo energy was a little bit of a refresher, a little bit of a reminder on what it is that our heart wants us to pursue, especially where new creative energies are coming, new identities are coming forth. We definitely have a change of heart. This was a reflection back to when Venus was in Leo energy in July and August. We retrograded in that energy and really kind of cracked our heart space wide open in a very, very different way. Of course, we had the last quarter moon in this Leo energy pop off here yesterday, and this was a illumination, if you will, on reflecting back over the past month, even further back if we date back to when Venus was in Leo energy. We've had a lot of change go on in our inner realm, in our exterior realm as well. It has definitely broken us down in order for us to build ourselves up in a much better, stronger, more aligned kind of way. But the realizations that we had, the new passions, new desires that our heart is asking us to pursue. Now, when the moon goes void, we are going to be questioning how passionate we actually are, how much we actually desire the changes that we've kind of been percolating on. And so it could feel like we are kind of taking a couple of steps back, but here's the good part. The good part is that the Virgo energy that the moon will be moving into is the problem solver of the zodiac. We are able to kind of move up into our mental plane using our intellect, using logic and practicality to kind of sort through our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings, current circumstances that are changing. And we're looking to identify the problem in order to fix it, heal it, repair it, resolve it. We're definitely going to get down to the nitty gritty, if you will, over the next coming of days on what it is that, yes, our heart is sure of, yes, what our heart does want us to pursue, and yes, the changes that have taken place in our emotional realm are here to stay. So that's really going to put us in a totally different situation to kind of plan, strategize, a path moving forward. And of course, we are gaining momentum. We just had Saturn station direct. We are moving closer and closer to the new moon in Scorpio energy, which of course is the pivotal moment where we're closing the door on eclipse season, on these old karmic chapters, on these old timelines, on this old version of self. And we have the ability to bust forth with this new identity, this new path, this new passion, this new desire, and we get the party started. So we're just kind of building in anticipatory energies at this point. And of course, if you've listened to the ascension forecast for this week, you would know we have a couple of major shifts taking place this week. Venus moving into her rulership, Mercury moving into Sag, setting us up for a brand new perspective that will be emerging again around the new moon in Scorpio energy. So with that being said, we have 12 different aspects taking place here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon, still very much in Leo energy, going to get into the boxing ring, square off with Mercury. So Mercury rules over our mental plane. It's information, details, it's our thoughts, our opinions, how we communicate and express that outwardly. Mercury, of course, is in Scorpio energy, doing a deep dive in our emotional realm, in our shadow realm, most specifically. We are unearthing a lot of truths, a lot of epiphanies, a lot of aha moments that totally going to make or break the game for us as far as the choice to evolve or revolve goes. Now, the moon typically speaking, is our heart space, our emotions, our unconscious self, very connected to the past, may I add. And in Leo energy, the heart and soul of the zodiac, we're really sitting in that heart space and we're really conflicted on what it is that we need to be doing at this particular point in time. So we have the heart space, we have the head space, they're in the boxing ring, they're fighting it out. Why? Because they're not on the same page. We're not on the same page in our heart space or in our head space. Our head space is telling us one thing, our heart is telling us another. And of course, that division is going to be illuminated by this particular square so that we see how far off the page our heart and our head actually are. Now, this is important because we have to get our heart and head on the same page before we can engage the physical body and actually take action, make moves to kind of rearrange, restructure, redesign, reorganize our external realms according to what it is that we've kind of concluded in our inner realms. So again, 2:26 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon in this Leo energy going void, of course. While void, just a couple of hours later, we have the moon trining, a beautiful interaction, with the North Node in Aries energy. And the North Node is acting as our soul path, our destiny point, the path that we need to get on to kind of reach the next chapter of our roles, of our responsibility, of our soul's mission, our purpose, our potential. What I love about this is, of course, it's fire on fire, Leo energy being a fire sign, Aries energy being a fire sign. And fire energy is very, very regenerative. It's very rejuvenating, very refreshing, very renewing. Now, what this is going to do for us is it's kind of grounding us in our heart space. We're trying to really hold the focus on what it is that our heart is asking us to pursue, where it is that we're feeling bold and brave and courageous enough to kind of boss up, to step up, to stand out, and really do what we got to do in order to make ourselves happy. So this is essentially formulating a couple of steps in moving forward to get on that right path. And of course, this means that there's a little bit of growth, there's a little bit of progress, there's a little bit of improvement on trying to identify what it is that we are kind of wanting to pursue from here. The moon is then going to interact with Neptune, though. Neptune, of course, retrograde in Pisces energy, in his rulership. This is our, I'm going to say, dreams, our spirituality, our soul contracts, our karma, where endings and closures are needed, where imagination versus reality needs to be balanced out a little bit. And because this is not the best interaction, this is going to illuminate where it is that we're having a hard time aligning with our higher selves. We're having a hard time connecting to our intuition. And so we're kind of stuck, very rooted in the physical body, in this physical present moment circumstance where our heart is asking us to do all of these things, but we're losing focus, if you will. And we're losing energy in trying to kind of muster up the courage and the bravery that we need to hold on to in order to make the changes, to provide the endings and closures to certain topics and themes, certain aspects of ourselves, certain circumstances in our current reality in order to actually move on. Now, this particular energy can get very overwhelming. There is this avoidance, this escapism that tends to pop in when we're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with our emotions, not knowing the energies in which we're picking up on, and sitting in a state of confusion never really helped anyone. Venus, though, here's where things get good. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, she is in Virgo energy in the latter degrees because she will be shifting into Libran energy, her rulership here on the 8th. Now, Venus in Virgo energy has not been her most favorite place to be in, but it has lended us a great opportunity to not be as overwhelmed with our emotions. There hasn't been as many heart activations over the last couple of weeks because that Virgo energy is ruled over by Mercury. So we're able to move into the mental plane and kind of analyze it, dissect it, if you will. And therefore, we've taken a little bit more of an intellectual and analytical approach to some of the emotions that have really kind of had us curled up in a ball over these past couple of months. And we are able to kind of process who and what needs to stay and needs to go. Well, Venus is going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Pluto. Pluto's the great transformer. He's direct in Capricorn energy, showing us where it is that we have the ability to turn the darker experiences, our darker emotions, our darker thoughts into something positive, into something empowering, showing us where it is that we need to boss out, where we need to take control and power back over the physical realm circumstances that we have been falling victim to just allowing to happen to us. This is a point in power where we need to boss up into our creator energy. So having Venus interact, a trine, mind you, with Pluto, very intense. Now, let's unpack this for a second. First of all, the intensity comes from Pluto. The passion comes from both of them, but the obsessive, compulsive focus, looping thoughts, very tunnel visioned, very focused on either a person, a topic, a theme, a situation, a connection, a goal, a project, a vision, whatever the case may be, we got laser vision on this particular one element. And it is likely something good because, again, a trine is a harmonization. It is a point of growth, of expansion, of improvement, of betterment, if you will. We're recognizing where it is that there is a excitement or a passion, a desire that is starting to bubble up within us. And so it's a very strong energy because Pluto intensifies whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And of course, the Virgo energy that Venus is in has us kind of in our mental plane very focused on what we want to kind of fix and heal and repair. And this isn't like sitting in conflict, realizing like, oh my goodness, I can't take this anymore. I have to fix it. We've been doing that. We've done that. We've bought the t-shirt. We aren't going back to that. What we're doing now is we're trying to invoke positive feelings in order to kind of, build this fire energy up within us, build these new passions, dreams, and desires up within us so that when we're gifted with the green light go ahead to actually take action upon some of the things that we've been percolating on, we know exactly what we want to do. We know exactly what we need to do in order to actually align with that particular timeline, that particular energy, whatever the case may be. So this is about like, what do we want to do? What do we find enjoyment in doing? What brings us happiness? Where can we kind of create more pleasure and contentment in our lives? What can we do to stabilize our lives? This is a positive energy on realizing where it is that it's up to us to create our little, let's call it little piece of heaven or little slice of paradise in our own physical realms. And here's the thing, our physical realms, they haven't felt good for a long time, for a very long time. We've been sitting in the funk. We've been sitting in the darkness. It hasn't felt good. That's why many of us, we're living in our heads, because to live in our physical bodies, it doesn't feel good. It's very uncomfortable. And so now we're realizing that we can't continue to live in our heads. We have to stay grounded in our bodies, but we have to make our physical bodies and our physical circumstances a little bit more enjoyable. And this is where, the introduction to bossing up into creator energy is about to begin. We want to create more happiness, more joy, more love, more fun in our lives, and it's up to us to do just that. So we have like tunnel vision, laser focus right now on where it is that we want to grow on these aspects, where we have to improve certain elements of our lives in order to have the foundation and create the space in order for us to be the creator of our own realities. So the thing about this is that we have a lot of conflicting energies. There's this like being riled up type of energy where we just have ants in our pants and we're just restless as all hell and we just want to go out in the world and do something different, but we're lacking the vision, we're lacking the plan, the strategy. We're also lacking the support from the cosmos right now because it's not time to be in a state of action. And so we have this kind of like energy building, but we need to be practicing patience. We need to be practicing just grounding in our body and cultivating that energy without taking action upon it. And again, we have a little bit more time to really add to the plan, the path, the strategy that we need to be taking when we're gifted with that green light go ahead to actually do so. But as far as our heart space is concerned, we are definitely focused on what we can do to cultivate, to grow, to improve, to bring new aspects to life that are constantly going to be contributing to the happiness factor that many of us have been lacking for a very, very long time. So we love that for us. But the moon in Leo, and again, still void, is going to interact with Pluto right after. And this is where we start kind of picking ourselves apart. Just when we were feeling good, when we were grasping a vision and a dream and a reminder of what it is that we want to build, what we want to create, what it is that we want to bring to life, suddenly we're not feeling so bold and brave and courageous to do what we have to do in order to do that. This is the point in time where we kind of retreat. This is the point in time where we start like questioning whether or not we have the strength, the perseverance, the willpower. Again, Saturn just turned station direct, where it is that we don't feel like we're ready to do what is required of us in order to step up to these new roles and responsibilities, especially where being a creator is concerned. And so this is the point in time where we start kind of beating ourselves down and picking ourselves apart and coming up with silly little excuses on why we're not going to be moving forward, why we're not able to create happiness in our lives, why we're not even worthy or deserving of it. This is the negative narrative coming in full stop to kind of kick our asses back into the shadow part of sadness, of instability, if you will, and really having us question whether or not that little earlier moment of power, of enlightenment, of growth, of progress, how we can even sit in that, persevere in that, make it stick around for a lot longer than just a couple of hours. So we're really starting to pick things apart at this particular point in time. Well, the moon goes ahead and interacts with Venus in a positive way shortly thereafter. Like we're talking, 10, 13 minutes between these two little kerfuffles. And so the moon interacting with Venus in a positive way, this is like the pick-me-up. And it's coming from a logical, practical place because, of course, Venus is in Virgo energy. So we're not really whining and complaining and being sad and, wah, wah, wah. What we're doing here is like get a grip, okay? There's been no indication whatsoever over the last couple of hours that you need to be feeling this low, this sad, this woe is me, okay? Nothing has happened. This is a element of your own self-control, your own discipline in your inner realm. Are you able to pep talk yourself? Are you able to prevent yourself from spiraling into the darkness? Our heart space, emotion, Venus, what we love, what we enjoy, what we want to grow and improve on. This is an illumination on where it is that we got to stabilize this energy, where we got to get our heart and our head on the same page here, and where we really got to flip the script in our own inner dialogue and own narrative so that we're not being the bully to our own damn selves, especially our egoic selves, trying to bully our higher self into a state of submission. That's how the dark force energy kind of attacks, if you will, the mental plane so that we don't boss up, so that we don't improve, so that we don't step into our power. So again, this is the point in time where the moon is going to be shifting into Virgo energy, locking in at 2:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, approximately, let's say 20 minutes later, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, and how it is that we express ourselves in the Scorpio energy, making a very tough interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. So what this is going to do is it's going to kind of further play off that earlier funk. We're trying to get our mental plane up to par. We're trying to flip the script. We're trying to empower ourselves. We're trying to have a more positive narrative and dialogue. But guess what? It just ain't cutting it. Why? Because we're in Scorpio energy. Scorpio energy needs to take us to the depths of our darkness, needs to explore where is this low self-esteem coming from? Where is this lack of confidence coming from? Where is this dialogue of not being worthy and deserving of happiness, of joy coming from? Heads up, it's coming from your ego selves. Heads up, it's coming down to essentially the first 7 years of your life and what it is that you were exposed to, because that's what builds the subconscious mind, and that's the narrative in which you've been telling yourself for however long you've been born. And this is a point in time where, again, reminder, Scorpio energy allows us to reach new heights as far as our awareness and our enlightenment goes, but we can only go as high as we've gone deep and dark. And so this is a good opportunity for us to see why it is that we're the problem, why our mental plane is creating the blockage in our own damn selves of why it is that we're not growing, why we're not improving, why we're not progressing, why we don't even feel like we're ready, prepared, or equipped to do so. And those realizations, as dark as they may be, as heavy as they may be, are very revealing. Again, the Scorpio energy unearths the truth, unearths the blockages in order for us to be kind of free to flip the script and show it the light. And so there is a little bit of a negative Nancy narrative coming here. There is a little bit of a deep dive necessary in our psyche in order to examine the conditioning that we were subjected to and why it is that now we have this not so loving, not so supportive inner dialogue. The moon is going to sit directly across from Saturn. Okay, so Saturn's the Lord of Karma. He rules over roles, responsibilities, structures, foundations, willpower, discipline, and he just stationed direct in Pisces energy. We're at a 0 degree 31 minutes. So essentially, we are exactly in the state in which Saturn was back in March. So there might be some reflection there. I am going to invite you, if you haven't listened to the astro forecast that I put out for this particular transit, to go ahead and take a listen to that. It will be a little bit more detailed on what we can expect from this particular transit moving forward. But basically, the moon is fresh in Virgo energy. Saturn is fresh in this very beginning placement of Pisces energy, and the Virgo energy and the Pisces energy, they sit across from each other in the zodiac wheel, and they represent the healing axis. The Virgo energy wants to help fix, heal, and repair our physical realms, our physical body, our mental plane, while the Pisces energy is more focused on healing our emotions, our spirituality, our karma. So everything that is kind of out of bounds of this particular realm and reality. Well, an opposition doesn't feel good. We're sitting across the table. We're not on the same page. We're actually having, I'm going to say, totally opposite and complete disagreements with this energy. Emotionally speaking, in the Virgo energy, we want to focus in on the small things. We want to create order where there's been chaos. We want to create boundaries. We want to create a plan, a path, a strategy, so that we can start building a new foundation, a new structure, new roles, new responsibilities. Saturn, he's going to need a little bit of time to actually adjust to the new forward direction of this Pisces energy. But keep in mind that Pisces energy is boundless. So where Virgo energy wants to put boundaries up, the Pisces energy wants to kind of erode them and break them down. Where the Pisces energy is focused on the dreamlike situations and scenarios that our intuitive selves are trying to conjure up, the Virgo energy wants us to be logical and practical with real life circumstances. So emotionally, we're more in a logical, practical, intellectual mindset and heart space than Saturn currently is, trying to build up momentum in this Pisces energy. The whole, I'm going to say, Saturn moving forward in Pisces energy is to identify where a new belief system, belief structure is needed. We just examined for the last 4.5 months where the old belief system had to go. We are essentially bossing up very slowly but surely in this new identity. Of course, the last 4.5 months, Saturn retrograde in Pisces energy was trying to dissect and dissolve the old identity with the old belief system. Why? Because we need to get rid of some of the elements that the old version of self with the old belief system actually built and created in our physical realm. Take a look around. At one point in time, you prayed for the current circumstances in which you're in, and now we're not in alignment with that because we've raised our vibration and our frequency higher than what it once was. And so that means that new elements need to be born, needs to be birthed into our lives. Saturn brings a heaviness, a weight, I'm going to say, pressurized responsibility on our shoulders to do better, to be better, to improve. Take a good look at your fears, your doubts, your insecurities. How are they blocking you from actually creating a system, a structure, a foundation in your life that is loving and supportive and helping you to get to this new vision, this new goal, this new dream? Take a look at your habits. Where are you choosing to numb out, to avoid, to totally walk away from the areas of life that require you to boss up, that need you to be better, that need you to bring forth a new discipline, determination, willpower in order to actually move on into new timelines, into new soul contracts. You've learned the life lessons required right now for you to be implementing those particular life lessons into your practice, into all in which you're doing. This is a point where you know better, so why aren't you doing better? And again, as Saturn kind of builds up momentum and starts actually moving forward, it's going to align with the new moon in Scorpio, which of course is that green light go ahead to kind of merge all these fragment pieces and parts of us together, emerge as this new identity, emerge as this new path, this new direction moving forward, but we're not there yet. So the moon is going to go ahead and bump into Chiron, the wounded healer. This isn't going to feel good. This is going to be the woe is me narrative. This is going to illuminate the problem areas, especially in our mental plane, especially in our belief system, especially in our emotions, that are preventing us from actually moving forward in the way that, military grandfather, tough, loving life Saturn is trying to get our asses in gear to do. The moon is going to make a positive interaction with the sun. We love this. We love when Virgo energy and Scorpio energy works together. Why is that? Well, because Virgo energy needs to identify the problem. Scorpio energy has the detective hat on. We're going to find the problems. The Virgo energy wants to fix, heal, and repair. The Scorpio energy is how the true transformation, the true metamorphosis needs to happen in order to heal certain parts that we are currently identifying. The Virgo energy doing a deep dive in the mental plane. Yes, it may be the surface level mental plane, our egoic mental plane, but it's the mental plane nonetheless. Scorpio energy doing a deep dive in our psyche, where the programming, the conditioning is hardwired in our brain so that we can flip the script and rewrite that. The Virgo energy is an earth energy. The earth energy is about what needs to happen in our reality, in our physical bodies, in our mental plane, the here and now, very connected to this physical earth. Scorpio energy, emotional and spiritual, because that is the, let's call it magic, that animates the physical body, the physical form. So this is a beautiful interaction. This means growth. This means progress. This means aha moments. This means revelations. This means epiphanies that we can't unknow that will further help this major change, this major transformation that our mind, our body, our soul, our spirit is currently going through. So Mercury, here's where things get interesting again. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves in this Scorpio energy, going to trine, beautiful interaction with Neptune, retrograde and Pisces energy in his rulership. So here's the thing. Mercury rules over the lower level of our intellect, very dependent on our physical circumstances, the information, the details that we can pluck out of our physical realm to formulate an opinion, a plan, a path, a strategy, whatever the case may be. It's how we communicate, express those particular inner revelations outwardly. We're in Scorpio energy, so this is a deep dive. This is penetrating in the darkest plates of our mental plane, of our narrative, of our dialogue, of our experience. Neptune, retrograde in this Pisces energy, is about our higher selves. It's about our imaginary land, our fantasies. It's about everything outside of our physical realm experience, the metaphysical realm, so to speak. So here we have these two tapping into each other. Water sign, water sign. What do we know about water signs? First of all, water signs are very cleansing, very healing, very transformative, very imaginative, very, very triggering when it comes to new growth, new progress, what it is that we want to kind of pursue from here. So this is going to open up our imagination in a totally different way. And the mercurial energy is able to formulate logic and practicality over these glimmers, these visions, these dreams, these downloads that Neptune is providing for us. So we are very tapped in to the energetic realm, mostly because Pisces energy, Scorpio energy, water energy is very intuitive anyway. So we're definitely in the realm of picking up on subtle energies. But B, we are using our intuition to kind of fill in the void, fill in the blanks of what we're not getting in our face with actual factual truth and evidence. And C, we are kind of being downloaded with different visions and dreams that may not make sense to us right now, but it's percolating a thought and a feeling within us that we are going to explore, that will put us in a more creative type of energy and put us more in an imaginative type of energy so that we can raise our vibration up, we can refresh our soul and our spirit, so to speak. We can tap in to a new creative force that maybe we need to be pursuing at this particular point. But what this does is it's like it puts us in a sense of just knowing. Again, you hear me talk about Scorpio energy. You just know. You may not have evidence or circumstantial proof on why you know such things. You just know them. And with this sense of knowing also comes a cosmic, or let's call it universal, understanding with no explanation, no evidence, no real indicators. There's just oh shit, that makes total sense. Oh my goodness, I didn't see that until just now. Oh my, I didn't even understand that until just this moment. And it's not something you can unknow. It's not something you can not understand moving forward. It's something that stays with you and is helping to build and cultivate this new energy, this new creative force, this new path, this new plan, this new strategy in actually moving forward. So we love this. What it also may do, and it may take a couple of days to do because there are triggers and activation points, but what it also may do is it may download us with aha moments on how it is that we can kind of avoid or go around certain obstacles and challenges. So whatever it is that we maybe been stumped on, whatever it is that maybe we've been banging our head against a wall about, suddenly we just have an idea on how we're going to get through it, how we're going to get around it, how we're going to jump over it. There's a lot of creative energy. So whether that manifests in problem solving, whether that manifests in a new vision, a new dream that you want to actually start actively trying to bring to life, or whether it puts you in a more creative force energy, such as, new art projects, new poetry, new writing material, new concepts to explore. Whatever the case may be, there is a new energy building up and taking over, prepping us, preparing us for this new expression of life force energy within us that, of course, will be triggered and activated with that new moon in Scorpio. Okay, so the last thing that we got going on here today is the moon in Virgo energy making a positive interaction with Pluto, who of course is direct in Capricorn energy. So you'll often hear me talk about how we should really love and favor Virgo energy working with Pluto. Why? Because Virgo energy, again, wants to fix, heal, solve, resolve. Pluto energy takes us in a deep dive into the psyche, into the programming, into conditioning. The Virgo energy likes to kind of stay in this egoic realm of facts and information and details and evidence. And we're able to not only identify the problems, not only make some progress in fixing, healing, and resolving them, but we're able to rewire the brain, the neural pathways, the narratives, the dialogues. This is a profound energy. This is very, very powerful, very intense. And we have the ability to restructure our thoughts, our perception, our understanding, and in turn, the domino effect that happens here is that we change our emotional standpoint based off of the epiphanies, the aha moments, the realizations that are coming through because of this Virgo energy doing a deep dive in our heart space and in our lower level intellect, and having Pluto really take us on the deepest, darkest journey in our psyche, in our unconscious selves, in the narrative, in the programming, in the conditioning that our brain has been influenced and impacted since existence. Again, the first 7 years of your life is what builds that inner narrative. And if we don't do the work to unpack that programming, that conditioning, that narrative, we will be constantly operating from, even as old as you may be, whatever it is that foundation was built upon within that first 7 years of life. So this is a mind F in the most positive of ways, giving you a lot of power and control to rewrite the narrative, to flip the script, and to really set yourselves up for a more empowering perspective, understanding, and way of thinking.